You walk through life, seeing faces, hearing words, but how much do you truly see? How much do you truly hear? Most people live in a world of surfaces. They take words at face value. They trust smiles without question. And because of this, they are constantly missing the hidden game being played right in front of them. What if I told you there's a secret language that everyone speaks, but only a few truly understand? A language of subtle gestures, unspoken motives, and quiet tells that reveal everything a person is trying to hide. This isn't magic. It's deep human psychology. Machiavelli, the master of human strategy, understood that the true battle of influence isn't fought with swords or loud speeches, but with the quiet understanding of what makes people tick. He knew that the ability to truly read others, to see past their masks, was the ultimate, unfair advantage. Today I'm going to reveal the unseen levers that control human behavior. I'm going to show you how to become a master at reading people, at seeing the truth beneath the surface. But be warned, once you gain this insight, the world will never look the same again. You will see the strings where others only see the dance. If these insights are pulling back the curtain on how people truly work, if you're ready to master this unseen game, then act now. Subscribe to unlock more deep truths and sharpen your mind. Chapter 1: The Invisible Signals. Every person you meet is broadcasting a constant stream of information, whether they mean to or not. Their body language, their choice of words, their tone of voice, even their silence. These are all invisible signals. Most people are blind to these signals. They hear the story, but they miss the truth whispered by the body. They focus on the words, but they ignore the emotions screaming beneath. Think about a conversation. Someone might be smiling and saying yes, but their shoulders are stiff, their eyes dart away, and their foot is tapping impatiently. A normal person hears yes and moves on. A master reader sees the subtle struggle, the hesitation, the unspoken no. This isn't guesswork, it's decoding the universal language of human communication. Machiavelli understood that appearance is everything, but not in the way most people think. It's not about how you look, but about how you interpret what others show. He observed that rulers who could accurately read the true intentions of their advisors and subjects, regardless of what they said, were always one step ahead. They saw betrayal before it happened, identified loyalty before it was tested. The power of invisible signals lies in their honesty. Words can lie. Faces can mask emotions. But the tiny tells, the slight shift in weight, the micro-expression, the sudden change in breathing, these are harder to control. They are the cracks in the mask, revealing the truth beneath. Learning to read these signals means becoming a detective of human nature. You stop taking everything at face value. You start observing the small details. You look for patterns, for inconsistencies. Does their body language match their words? Does their tone align with their message? When you spot a mismatch, you know you found a hidden truth. This skill isn't about judging people. It's about understanding them so you can navigate interactions with precision. It allows you to anticipate, to respond wisely, and to protect yourself from unspoken dangers. You learn to see the trap before it's sprung, the lie before it's fully told. Chapter 2: The Art of Strategic Listening. Most people listen with one goal: to reply. They wait for their turn to speak. They listen for keywords that trigger their own thoughts. They hear to be understood, not to understand. This common habit is a huge weakness, turning conversations into noisy competitions where little true understanding is gained. But a master reader listens with a completely different goal: to gather information. They listen for what is not said as much as what is said. They listen for pauses, for changes in tone, for areas of discomfort. They listen for the hidden needs, the unspoken fears, the secret desires that people unintentionally reveal. Machiavelli, a master of statecraft, knew that true power came from knowing your opponents better than they knew themselves. He understood that the most effective way to gain this knowledge wasn't through interrogation but through strategic listening. By letting others talk, by asking open-ended questions and then truly listening to the answers, he gathered priceless intelligence about their plans, their weaknesses, and their hidden motives. Strategic listening is a silent weapon. While others are busy filling the air with their own thoughts, you are collecting data. You're building a complete picture of the person in front of you. You learn what excites them, what scares them, what they truly want, and what they desperately need. This allows you to influence them not through force, but by speaking directly to their deepest desires and fears. Imagine a negotiation. Most people enter ready to argue their points. But if you listen strategically, you might discover that the other party isn't truly driven by money, but by a need for respect or security, or a feeling of control. Armed with that knowledge, you can shift your approach, offering them what they truly seek while still achieving your own goals. This is influence without overt manipulation. This skill requires patience and discipline. It means resisting the urge to interrupt, to offer advice, or to share your own stories. It means being fully present, giving your complete attention, and letting the other person feel truly heard. When someone feels heard, they open up more, revealing even deeper layers of themselves. Chapter 3: The Untouched Core. Everyone has a vulnerable spot, a core belief or fear that, if exposed, can be used against them. For most people, this core is exposed by their need for approval, their fear of being alone, or their desperate craving for attention. They constantly seek validation, changing who they are to fit what others want, and in doing so, they hand over control. A master reader understands this. They see where a person is attached to external praise, to fitting in, to a specific outcome. And they know that attachment is a lever. If you need something from others, you are automatically vulnerable to them. Machiavelli deeply understood this human tendency. He observed that people who desperately needed to be loved, to be accepted by everyone, often made decisions that were against their own best interests. They compromised their power for popularity. He taught that a ruler should build an inner fortress, an untouched core that doesn't depend on the fickle opinions of the crowd. Building an untouched core means you know your own worth, independent of what anyone else thinks. It means you are comfortable with who you are, even if others disapprove. It means your actions are driven by your own purpose and values, not by the desire for external applause. When you operate from this place, you become truly unshakable. This doesn't mean becoming cold or distant. It means having a deep inner strength that allows you to engage with others without becoming dependent on their reactions. You can still be kind, compassionate, and connected, but your inner peace doesn't rely on their validation. When you have an untouched core, people can't use praise or criticism to control you. They can't use the threat of rejection to make you conform. You become an enigma, a person who operates on their own terms, and that kind of self-possession is incredibly powerful. People respect what they cannot break, what they cannot easily sway. Chapter 4: The Game of Projection. People don't see the world as it is. They see the world as they are. Every judgment they make, every opinion they form about you, every assumption they hold, it often reveals more about them than it does about you. This is the game of projection, and a master reader uses it to gain powerful insight. When someone criticizes you, it might be a reflection of their own insecurity. When they praise you too much, it might reveal their own desires or needs. When they try to guess your motives, they often reveal their own hidden ways of thinking. Most people get caught up in defending themselves, trying to correct others' misunderstandings. But a master reader knows better. Machiavelli knew that understanding how people project their own inner world onto others was a key to control. He observed that by presenting a certain ambiguous image, one could make others fill in the blanks with their own fears and hopes, leading them to predict and react in ways that served his strategic goals. He didn't chase clarity, he weaponized uncertainty. To use the game of projection to your advantage, you must learn to be okay with being misunderstood. When someone misreads you, don't rush to correct them. Instead, observe how they misread you. What beliefs, what fears, what assumptions are they projecting onto you? Their misjudgment is a window into their own mind. Imagine someone accusing you of being too ambitious, when in reality, you're just focused and disciplined. Instead of defending your ambition, you can see that they might be insecure about their own lack of drive. This insight allows you to understand their motivations, to predict their reactions, and to guard against their potential actions. This skill gives you an incredible advantage. You stop taking criticism personally because you realize it's often not about you. You gain a deeper understanding of people's hidden drivers, allowing you to interact with them on a more strategic level. You turn their attempts to define you into opportunities to define them. Chapter 5. The Power of the Calculated Pause. In our fast-paced world, everyone feels the pressure to respond instantly, to have an immediate answer, to fill every moment of silence. But this rush to speak, this need to be quick, is a profound weakness. It makes you predictable, often shallow, and easily led. A master reader, however, understands the immense power of the calculated pause. They resist the urge to speak immediately. They let silence linger. They take a moment to observe, to process, to think before responding. This pause is a strategic weapon, giving you several powerful advantages. First, the pause creates tension. In the quiet, others become uncomfortable. They might rush to fill the silence, revealing more information than they intended. They might reevaluate their own statement, becoming unsure. This gives you valuable time to gather more data. Second, the pause makes your words carry more weight. When you speak after a deliberate silence, your words seem more considered, more thoughtful, more important. People lean in. They listen more carefully because they sense that your words are chosen, not simply blurted out. Machiavelli, a master of political timing, knew that a well-timed silence could be more powerful than any speech. He observed that rulers who could hold their tongue, who could resist the urge to react immediately, often created an aura of deep wisdom and control. Their calculated pauses made others nervous, eager to please, desperate to know what was truly being thought. Think of a difficult question in a meeting. Most people jump to answer, even if they're unsure. But if you take a long, thoughtful pause, look at the questioner, and then deliver a calm, precise answer, you instantly project authority. You show that you are not rushed, that you are in control of your thoughts and your time. This skill requires practice. It means becoming comfortable with silence, even when it feels awkward. It means resisting the social pressure to immediately contribute. But the reward is immense. You gain control of the conversation, your words become more impactful, and you project an image of calm, deliberate power. Chapter 6. The Unseen Strings of Fear and Desire. Beneath every decision, every action, every word, lie two powerful, hidden forces: fear and desire. People are constantly moving towards what they desire and away from what they fear. Most people are unaware of these invisible strings pulling their own lives and completely blind to them in others. A master reader, however, learns to identify these strings. They see the underlying fear that drives someone's aggression. They see the deep desire that motivates someone's flattery. They understand that if you can identify a person's core fears and desires, you hold a powerful, unseen lever of influence. Machiavelli understood this better than anyone. He knew that to truly control people, you didn't need to force them. You needed to understand what truly motivated them. He believed that while love was good, fear was a more reliable motivator because it was constant and personal. people always fear losing what they value most. He taught that a ruler should understand these basic human drives to maintain control and loyalty, not by being cruel, but by being strategically aware. To identify these strings in others, you must observe, listen, and question without judgment. Look for what makes people anxious. What do they protect most fiercely? What do they talk about with passion? What do they constantly seek? These reveal their fears and desires. Imagine someone who is always trying to impress their boss. Their desire might be for advancement, but their deeper fear could be job insecurity. Knowing this, you can understand their competitive behavior and predict their reactions to perceived threats to their position. Or a friend who constantly seeks your approval. Their desire is acceptance, their fear is rejection. Understanding this allows you to help them or protect yourself more effectively. This skill isn't about exploiting people in a negative way. It's about understanding the deep human drives that shape all behavior. It allows you to navigate relationships with clarity, to influence with wisdom, and to protect yourself from those who would use these strings against you. You become aware of the entire puppet show, even if you choose not to pull the strings yourself. Chapter 7: The Currency of Information. In any social setting, whether a family, a friend group, or a workplace, information is the true currency. Every secret shared, every opinion revealed, every piece of gossip exchanged holds a specific value. Most people are constantly spending this currency without thinking, giving away valuable information for free and often getting nothing in return. A master reader understands the true value of information. They become a collector, not a spender. They realize that knowledge about others, their plans, their weaknesses, their alliances, is power. But information about themselves is something to be carefully guarded, to be spent only when there is a clear strategic gain. Machiavelli observed that rulers who controlled the flow of information, who knew more about their enemies and rivals than anyone knew about them, always held the upper hand. He taught that secrecy was a virtue and that loose talk was a deadly sin in the game of power. He understood that when others reveal themselves through gossip or careless talk, they are handing you weapons. To master the currency of information, you must cultivate active listening and profound silence. Listen to everything. Pay attention to what people say about others, what they complain about, what they boast about. This is all free intelligence, but give very little of your own away. Don't engage in gossip. Don't reveal your weaknesses. Don't share your grand plans before they are ready. Imagine a social gathering. Most people are talking about others or themselves. But you are quietly observing, gathering clues. You hear who is forming alliances, who is struggling, who is ambitious. This intelligence allows you to avoid potential pitfalls, to forge stronger connections, or to protect your own interests without ever needing to speak a word of gossip yourself. This skill makes you incredibly powerful because you operate with superior knowledge. You see the chessboard from a higher perspective. You understand the hidden dynamics. And because you are discreet, others will come to trust you more with their own information, completing a cycle of power. Chapter 8: The Art of Anticipation. The world is not static. It is constantly moving, constantly shifting. Most people live in reaction. They respond to events as they happen. They are always a step behind, always playing catch-up. They are good at reacting to the current game, but terrible at anticipating the next one. A master reader, however, lives in anticipation. They don't just see what is happening now, they see what is about to happen. They connect the dots of invisible signals, strategic listening, and collected information to predict future actions and reactions. This allows them to always be one step ahead, to make moves that seem almost magical. Machiavelli's entire philosophy was built on anticipation. He studied history not just to understand the past, but to foresee the future patterns of human behavior and power. He understood that a ruler's greatest strength was the ability to prepare for threats before they fully emerged, and to seize opportunities before anyone else recognized them. To master the art of anticipation, you must develop a deep understanding of human nature and the specific patterns of the people around you. You look for trends, for subtle shifts. You ask yourself, if this person is motivated by X and this situation happens, what is their most likely next move? You play out scenarios in your mind, like a chess grandmaster. Imagine a business project. Most people see the current problems, but an anticipator sees the potential conflicts between team members, the hidden weaknesses in the plan, or the upcoming market shift that will change everything. They prepare for these things before they become emergencies, making them seem incredibly insightful and prepared. This skill allows you to navigate the future with immense confidence. You avoid crises because you saw them coming. You seize opportunities because you prepared for them. You protect yourself from betrayal because you anticipated it. You become a force that not only reacts but actively shapes the future. Chapter 9. The Unseen Hand. The ultimate level of reading people and wielding influence is the unseen hand. This is when you can guide outcomes, shape decisions, and steer situations without anyone even realizing you are doing anything at all. You become the quiet force, the invisible director, making people believe your ideas are their own. Most people try to influence through direct commands, through arguments, through persuasion. They want credit. They want to be seen as the one in charge. But this only creates resistance. A master reader, an unseen hand, influences subtly. They plant ideas indirectly. They ask leading questions that guide thinking in a certain direction. They create situations that naturally lead to the desired outcome. Their influence is so seamless, so organic, that people never feel coerced. They feel like they made the choice themselves. Machiavelli admired rulers who could achieve their goals with the least amount of visible effort and direct force. He knew that the most stable power was built on the willing cooperation of the people, achieved not through tyranny, but through clever shaping of their perceptions and choices. The unseen hand reflects this, achieving your will through their agency. To become an unseen hand, you must deeply understand the principles we've discussed: invisible signals, strategic listening, and untouched core, the game of projection, calculated pauses, and the strings of fear and desire. You combine these insights to craft situations where people naturally choose the path you desire. Imagine wanting a team member to take on a new task. Instead of ordering them, you might subtly highlight the benefits of the task to their career, mention how their unique skills perfectly suit it, and create a situation where they volunteer enthusiastically. They feel empowered, and you achieve your goal without resistance. This skill is incredibly powerful and, if misused, can be dangerous. It demands integrity and wisdom, but when used responsibly, it allows you to bring about positive change, to resolve conflicts, and to lead effectively without ever needing to exert overt force. You become the quiet architect of reality. You've now taken a profound journey into the unseen world of human influence. You've learned Machiavelli's powerful lessons: how to decode invisible signals, the art of strategic listening, the strength of an untouched core, the game of projection, the power of the calculated pause, the unseen strings of fear and desire, the currency of information, the art of anticipation, and finally, the mastery of the unseen hand. This isn't about becoming cold or cruel. It's about becoming profoundly aware, strategically disciplined, and utterly self-reliant. It's about understanding the hidden mechanics of human motivation so you can navigate the world with mastery, rather than being tossed about by its currents. If this video has changed how you view people and power, if it has armed you with a new, sharper vision for your life, then hit that like button. Share this crucial message with someone who needs to see these truths. And most importantly, subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell. Join us to keep unlocking the secrets of true, lasting influence. Your future self. The one who truly commands their destiny through wisdom and strategy is waiting. Remember, in a world where everyone is performing for an audience, the person who quietly reads the script and then subtly guides the play truly controls the stage.